Hi everyone, Tano here, the internet's busiest music nerd, and it's time for a review of this new Black Country New Road album live at Bush Hall. This is a brand new live album of material from UK art, experimental, and post-rock outfit Black Country New Road. One of the most beloved young bands out of England at the moment. Beloved but also in a state of flux, kind of, as their former lead singer Isaac Wood, who was a pretty integral part of the band's first two records, recently left the group. However, the remaining members of Black Country New Road were quick to announce this would not shut them down. They would continue writing and performing as a band, which of course left a lot of fans curious as to what this would mean for their next chapter creatively. And I think this live record is the best and most effective way they could have told us, because the band, I'm sure, was wanting to build off the success of the record they dropped last year. On top of it, they had a bunch of tour dates staring them in the face, and with this sudden change, they weren't exactly presented with the time to write, record, and perfect a whole new studio record. So a live album instead allows them to road test some new ideas, show us what the band is sounding like now, also add a visual component of this live performance, which is up now on YouTube, also show us that vocal duties are now being spread amongst the remaining members of the band, and the whole thing's a pretty solid 47-minute performance experience. So with that being said, what is the sound of this record? What direction is the band going in at this point? To start, I'm not gonna lie, Isaac left the band some pretty big shoes to fill, vocally speaking. Nowhere is that clearer than with some of Lewis's strained and flat singing on the record with the songs he fronts. However, this is not something I'm trying to hold against the group now specifically, because the fact is most bands don't have a front person with the capacity to throw you into the emotional whirlwinds that Isaac did on Ants From Up Here. To hold all bands, including this new version of Black Country New Road, up to that standard would be ridiculous. Still, it's great the group is able to mostly stick to their stylistic guns on this record with such a sudden change, cause they're still bringing that sax and string-enhanced rock with a lot of dynamic builds and grand layers. In a way, a lot of the songs on this LP feel like a continuation of what they were doing on Ants From Up There, as many of the songs on that record were more tuneful, had more of a ballad slant, and were less dependent on Isaac Wood's mesmerizing spoken word passages. And the result here is what feels like a lot of very sturdy indie and art rock with some baroque and chamber tendencies. The record kicks off with a very heartening thrill on the track Up Song 2, which is a rowdy but refined rocker with pounding bass, drums, and piano, with the band singing in unison about how they've accomplished so much as a group and how they're friends forever. BCNR, friends forever, is handily one of the stickiest melodies to land on any of the group's records. But instantly the record heads into a much more patient place with the Following the Boy, which is a 6-minute story song that works in 3 different chapters. There's a lot of tense orchestral layers on this track, underscoring a dramatic vocal performance from keyboardist May Kershaw, whose vocalizations at some points on this track actually remind me of Björk a bit. I think fans will also find some creative parallels in the very regal and plucky arpeggios, as well as the fantastical storytelling, which involves a robin's tragic struggle to fix his wings. There's a lot of metaphor, and the progression of the whole thing is incredibly dark. It may not be exactly the kind of song that BCNR fans were looking for or anticipating, but it's undeniably creative and well performed. This track is followed by the even more theatrical I Won't Always Love You, which features a lot of weepy woodwinds and strings that soundtrack a vocal performance from Tyler Hyde that has this very tight vibrato to it that feels like something out of the Victorian era. Once again, we have some very tragic emotions being expressed on the lyrical end, but the progression of the song leaves something to be desired. I felt the first portion dragged quite a bit, and the singing, being as measured as it is, didn't really match the grand finale's instrumental energy. Vocally, I think the band did a better job of selling the track Laughing Song, which is an interesting point on the album narratively because it calls back to at least a few different tracks on this record. But digging deeper into it, the song is mostly about losing someone who's kind of the light of your life. Used to make you laugh, sees things in you that others don't. There's a powerful ending on the song too, instrumentally, and moments lyrically that stand out, such as letting the best person you know walk away, are absolutely devastating. The 9-minute Turbine/Pigs has a lot of fans excited, and I can see why. The finale is huge, and BCNR fans love a long one. The song features features some interesting lyrical angles too, with nods to the pearls before swine text of Matthew 7:6, saying, "Don't waste your pearls on me, I'm a pig." The song also alludes at multiple points to pigs flying, but with the vision of turbines entering the fray, it does get quite a dark and horrid look. I'll say this, progression-wise, the track is not really edge of my seat for the first portion, and I found its final moments to feel more grating sonically than grand, though that could be due to the difficulties of depicting such a massive and noisy moment in a flattering light in a live recording. The final moments of this LP are pretty strong though. Dancers, in terms of songwriting, has to be a top 3 song on this thing. Dancers stand very still on the stage. Killer melody on the refrain here, and the track's final moments, though they are loud and they are aggressive and explosive, the performance and the recording sounds really clean and really tight. From here we have a flawless transition into a very gentle reprise of Up Song, which I think ties the entire record up very nicely. And overall I thought this record was pretty good. I think there are some kinks for sure still being worked out with this sudden change in the band's lineup, but still this is a very good album from the BCNR crew. Sure, there are some shortcomings, but I think a lot of them could be attributed to having to throw this all together into a live recording and get a substantial amount of new material together in such a short time. If the group can build from here, they'll continue to have highlights, potential, and magic. I'm feeling a strong 7 on this LP. Transition, have you given this record a listen? Did you love it? Did you hate it? What would you rate it? You're the best, you're the best. What should I review next? Hit the like if you like. Please subscribe and please don't cry. Hit the bell as well over here next to my head. It's another video you can check out. Hit that up or the link to subscribe to the channel. Anthony Fantano, Black Country, New Road of Forever.